Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. It's Carmen here. So today I wanted to pop in and share some pretty valuable information, in my opinion, because it's what I truly think is one of the biggest mistakes coaches are making to measure their success. So if you have ever been somebody who has looked around you as a health coach and you see people with these waiting lists full of clients, or you see them driving fancy cars, or you see them taking expensive vacations, and you've thought to yourself, I really haven't made it as a health coach. Even though I have 5 or 6 clients, or I'm happy with my business, I see these people around me and I'm comparing myself to them as being more successful than me because it looks like they have more money. So that is a common trap that we fall into. I see health coaches all the time trying to determine their worth or their success as a coach by how much income they're bringing in their business. And this is a big mistake, and this is why. Because first of all, you can have 6 or 7 clients, right? And maybe one of them gets success. Hi, Shirley. One of them finds success by working with you. And out of those 6 or 7 clients, having one person that finds success by meeting goals doesn't really mean a whole lot. Even though you may have the money they gave you in your pocket, if they're not finding that success and they're not getting where they want to be in their health, and you're not getting to where you want to be in your business by getting those testimonials and referrals, money really doesn't mean anything. So let me give you a little bit of background on, I'll tell you a little bit of a personal story, and then I'll tell you a little bit of a business experience that I had where I was thinking that money meant more than it really did. So one area, as I've been sharing this week in my most vulnerable moments, is my marriage. And we had a very different idea about what it meant to I don't know, have a successful family, or what it looked like to the world outside of us. You know, I really never cared too much about that kind of thing. Status never meant much to me. Before I got married, I was an overall wearing hippie with Birkenstocks as my favorite shoes. And hi, Lisa. Hi, guys. Hi, Kathy. Good morning. And I never really put much weight into money. I just never did. Maybe to my detriment, because I spent my teenage years and my 20s frivolously spending and doing a lot of partying, having a lot of adventures, going to concerts, sometimes sleeping on kitchen floors or outside by a river just to make a concert the next morning. I've always been more of a free spirit, and money hasn't really ever been that big of a deal to me. I've lived in apartments. I've lived in 16 different places in one city at one point because, I had roommates from all over the place. I just lived a very free lifestyle. Got myself into some financial debt, which probably was the area to my detriment, that I didn't pay enough attention to finances. But overall was pretty much a free-spirited, happy human being. Enter marriage many years later in the beginning of the 2000s, where I married into a family where status was very important. It was important what people thought of the way you looked. It was important where you lived. It was important what your education was. And I started to find myself being drawn into this false world where I thought I had to have a degree at college to be a successful human being, where I thought I had to drive the right car, even though my internal instincts were pulling at me saying, that's not important. You can do something so much more. You are so much more. I really, really let myself go. And again, the theme of this week is losing myself in my marriage, losing myself and giving away my power after affairs. It's, creating unhealthy types of behaviors just to keep somebody in my life that really didn't belong there. A lot of mistakes were made. And as time goes on and I continue to share more about myself here with you guys, and I think it's important that you know that this is, being vulnerable in this way is a little bit uncomfortable for me, but it's also the right time for me because I feel energized by sharing my experience with you in hopes that I can help you guys not make the same mistakes, or maybe overcome areas that you're stuck in right now. So back to that idea about status and cars and looking a certain way. I'm the person that shopped at TJ Maxx for my workout clothes while I was told I should go to Lululemon. I'm the one that said, can I please get an American-made car, because these European cars, our Land Rovers, it's a pain in the butt and there's always something wrong with them. But I gave in and got another Land Rover for specific reasons. So I'm telling you all of this because I want you to know that the focus on status and money and the way things looked and all of that didn't cover up all of the problems in my marriage and all of the issues that we were having with connection as a couple, with, trying to develop a relationship that made sense in a marriage that was going south. And we were focused on the wrong things. So fast forward back into the business area where I did the same thing, where I thought, I had at one point, I think it was in the very beginning of the business, where I had 5 or 6 clients coming to me, and I kept thinking, well, I'm not charging that much. Am I really worth anything if I'm only making $500 a month? What kind of a coach am I if I'm only making $600 a month? This was the beginning of my business, you guys. This is not a place where I should have felt like I could make $1,000, $2,000 a month, because in my opinion, I was to charge what my experience was. And that's what I was doing, but I was giving myself a hard time because I was measuring my success in coaching by the amount of money I was bringing in, not by the success that my clients were having, which was over and over again. Oh my gosh, Carmen, I feel so much better. My joints don't hurt anymore. My daughter's able to run again. I've lost weight. My husband's lost weight. We're happier. I'm sleeping better. But there I was in the back of my mind going, but what about the money? What about the money? I'm not making enough money. So my focus became so much on the money as motivation that I started to feel myself probably not giving as much attention to the clients as I really wanted to give to them. Is this making sense? Are you guys resonating with this at all? Are you trying to measure your worth and success as a coach by how much money is coming into your business? Because if you are, it is the wrong motivation. The motivation is, how happy are my clients? How fulfilled am I in my business? How am I growing my business in a way that's sustainable and makes sense, even if it's tiny steps at a time? It's not about the money. It's not about the money. Money, as we've all known, cannot buy you happiness in your real life. I'm a testament to that because we had plenty of it many, many times. We made poor decisions, but we had a lot of, fancy vacations. We had a lot of fun. We had nice things, but our marriage was falling apart. As time goes on, I'm owning the pieces of that marriage that fell apart despite the betrayals and infidelities. I'll be talking about those pieces too. And we're going to go deep into boundaries and how they affect our work and our personal lives and attachment theories and things like that. And just as a note, you guys, all of this stuff I'm sharing with you, you can actually take this information, apply it to your business and yourself, and then share with your clients, because it applies to all of us as human beings. We're putting way too much emphasis on what money is and what it means to us as a society and what it means to us as coaches. So the other thing I want to throw out there to give you a little bit of comfort beyond my own experience with how none of that helped my business grow. Focusing on the money didn't help. None of that helped my marriage survive. It still fell apart. I want you just to remember this, that all of those people you're seeing out there claiming to make 6 figures and take fancy vacations, and they're making all of this money, there's a couple things you need to know. First of all, they probably didn't just work as a health coach. Second of all, they probably didn't work as a health coach very long because they gave up on it. Third of all, everyone has something going on in their personal life or in their business that is hard. They're just not sharing it with you. That's a fact. Anyone that tells you that everything is smooth sailing, they've got it all figured out, you need to delete them and unfollow them, because those are not people that are sharing what real life is truly like in their marriage, in their family, in their relationships, in their business. It's easy to sit back and try to be this person that you think everyone wants to see in your business, this super healthy person that has it all together. So you think they're going to hire you because of those things. And guess what? Money looks like you have those things. When you spend money on those things, it looks like you've got it all together, right? The right hair, the right nails, the right clothes, the right car, the right vacations, all of the right done for you programs for your business, all of those things that we're thinking everyone has together. Just remember that everyone has something that they struggle with. And this is, a great analogy is all of the movie stars that we watch and, that we see in the movies, and we see these magazines. And, they're all happy and beautiful. And then a couple years later, their husband has a drug problem, or they've been cheated on, or they've lost everything or whatever. So I want to encourage you all to do a couple of things. Stop focusing on other people's successes, because there's not a measure of your own. Stop focusing on money and how much you have and how much you're bringing in your personal life or your business, because it means absolutely nothing. Focus on what people are telling you that you're giving to them as a coach. Are you giving them support? Are you sharing, things with them that make them feel not so alone? Are they reaching goals despite the sabotage that's happening from their spouse or their family? What are successes to you in your life that are outside of money? Ask your clients, what does success look like to you? So those are a couple of things I want you to think about, because here's what can happen if you're focused on the wrong things, and money is a wrong thing to focus on, okay? First of all, you create a negative money mindset if you're always thinking about what you don't have. you will continue to get more of what you don't have. Okay, I'm in the middle of that right now. I'm in a growth stage with my business where I'm investing everywhere. And I'm reminding myself and reaching out to my team regularly to lift me up and remind me of all of the reasons and the ways that this business is making an impact for other people, right? And so I understand if you're there right now, because I'm there too. Life can be messy. I'm still in the process of getting things settled from a move that can make things feel pretty chaotic. But it's one little thing at a time. It's no longer about anything outside of the moment that I'm living in. In this moment, I'm sitting on a beautiful screened in porch. I'm feeling the breeze. I'm going to spend the day with my son, getting him ready to go away for a month. My boyfriend's coming in town. Like, life is good in these little bite-sized pieces. And those are the successes that I'm measuring myself by, not whether or not I got an enrollment today or we made another sale or whatever, because those things come when you change your mind to a mind of abundance in your life, right? Are you guys getting this? Are you guys hearing me at all about what we're supposed to be focusing on? It's not just about your business. It's about your life. This is about your life we're talking about. If you can get that personal life in order, where you know what's important and the things that lift you up and make you feel alive again, then all of the things that go along with that when it comes to money, they're going to fall into place. So here's the other thing I want to share. One more thing, and then I want to give you guys some action steps. Good morning, Solange. I think I saw your email come through just a few minutes ago, and I'll get back to you really soon on that. Yeah, Shirley, you get it. Yes. So my point is that I want you all to just remember that when you are setting prices for your business, of course I want you to honor your time. Of course I want you to honor your experience, but I don't want you to get married to the idea that if you don't get a specific amount of clients, which is also being marketed to you every month, get 5 or 6 new clients, get 10 or 12 new clients each month, or whatever, grow your list or whatever. It's not a measure of how successful you are as a person or how successful you are when you're coaching your clients or any of those things. Yeah. And Lisa, you're saying I can relate to a husband that is worried about money, and that money that you're going to earn. Okay, well, you know what? Here's one thing about that's going to be really helpful, Lisa. That's his yard. Let him worry if he wants to, but ask him gently not to share those worries with you, because that comes in and steals your focus. So we don't have to worry about the things that our spouses are worried about. Sorry, I've got an itch here. We don't have to worry about the things that other people are worried about. I just had this conversation with my son the other day. His friend was in town, and he was like, but he's doing this. And I said, that is not your problem. Let him do that. You do you. And that's the statement, right? You do you. You let everyone in your life do themselves, even if it's about your business or your success or your clients. Let people have their opinions, but ask them if it's hurting your success or it's hurting your thought process or your mindset. Ask them to keep those opinions to themselves, because what you're trying to do here is foster a positive outlook on what you're doing with your business, to feel that positive outcome before it even happens, so that you can bring it into your reality. What happens when we don't do that is we get tired, we get stressed, we get overwhelmed, we start to get a little bit bitter towards the people that don't believe in our dream, which harms our relationships, which can then take us down a rabbit hole with our marriage, a rabbit hole with our children, with our friendships. It can even cause your clients to pick up on some of the things that may not feel so good that are coming off of you. And that's the last thing we want to do. So focus on the successes, focus on all the amazing things that you're doing and the knowledge you have in your mind and the business you're building to have that life that you love, and stop focusing so much on the money. This message is just as much for me today as it is for you guys. And this is what I like to do also, is I love to take those feelings that I'm having, try to figure out where they might be also applicable to you guys, so that we can go on this journey together. I'm not out here saying I've got it figured out. I don't have anything figured out except the things I've got figured out, right? I figured out when we put something in my house today that I'm staring at for about 3 weeks on the floor. That's a success to me. I figured out that, I can actually pack my kids' month-long trunk for camp 2 days before we go instead of 2 weeks before, thus relieving myself of all the anxiety I used to put myself under before. There's so many little things that I celebrate every day about my life now that I never did before, because I was focused on the wrong thing. So action step for today is, what kind of mantra can you create for yourself that brings you back into yourself when your mind goes somewhere else about money. So let's give you an example. So let's say you get on your computer and maybe you're someone that's selling some ebooks or something like that. And I see the comments coming in. I'm going to read those in a moment. But let's say you're selling something online and you just launched an, I don't know, program or an ebook. And you get on your computer after a long day and you see you have no sales at all. Is the first place that your mind goes, I can't believe I didn't get any sales today. This is unbelievable. What is going on? What has happened? It's just the third day with no sales. Or can your mind go to, man, Monday we really killed it. I sold like 25 of those ebooks and 3 people enrolled in my program. Or can you go, you know what? I think I'm going to evaluate that on Monday because today's Friday and the weekend's here, and I need some time to get back into myself and my body and take some time for self-care. So when Monday rolls around, I'm going to spend a couple hours that morning. I'm going to see where I can improve things. So, you know, another thing might be, oh my gosh, we've got to, and trust me when I tell you that I'm the queen of spending money right now. I mean, I've got probably a good $13,000 bill on just moving into a new house that I've had to have sod put down. I've had to have this done, that done. So instead of thinking to myself, oh great, now the faucet's spraying water all over the front yard. Terrific, great. What I did was I sent a message to my dad because he's been so helpful in helping me find resources to fix these things. And I said, the faucet out front is spraying things. Did you or mom notice anything when you were here before I moved in? And he wrote, I'll check it out when I come back. I let it go. I turned off the water and I let it go instead of worrying. Am I going to have to find somebody to fix it? How much is that going to cost? Oh my gosh, if one more thing comes my way, I don't know what I'm going to do. Instead of going there, I went to the place, find a solution, reach out to someone who can help me, let it go. Okay. So this is why it's so important. And also attached to the attachment theory and boundaries and mindset issues and vulnerability that I'm going to be bringing to you through all these series that I'm talking to you guys about my personal stuff and business. I'm also going to be talking to you about how important it is to stay in the moment and have connections and reach out and ask for that support when you need it, instead of tucking all the worry inside of yourself. Find those people in your life, even if it's me in the groups that you're in, or me in the student groups, that you reach out and say, I'm falling apart right now. I need somebody to lift me up. Can I get some help? That's what you need to do. No one is meant to be in this world going through all of this stuff by themselves, including being focused on the wrong things, right? So when you're focused on money, you miss connection. When you got a negative money mindset, you miss connection. When you think money is the most important measure of your worth, you miss connection. So let's try to find a way as a group, and you know, the people that are in my groups know that they're my family. And you know, if you're in them, you know that's the truth for me. Let's try to find a way that we shift this mindset for coaches to measuring our success through the things that we see us doing that help our clients, and we see us doing to build our business in a way that feels really good, that's authentic, that's ethical, and that's moving us forward at all times. Okay, let me see. I was looking for my glasses and they're sitting on my head. So there's that. That's a success, right? I actually brought them out with me this morning. Kim says, I needed the reminder. I have had a few people close to me tell me I might not be able to get a business going or maintain because I don't have money to invest right now. Well, I'm learning to let them just talk, learning not to be hurt by this and focus on real life. That's awesome, Kim. Good for you. Good morning, Andy. Good morning. So here's the thing with that also. One of the things that might be helpful for you, Kim, as well, is as you get stronger and you build those boundaries, and as I love to say, build them deep, build them wide, and build them high, and build them out of concrete. Those boundaries that we're talking about, the boundaries are being broken right here in just this paragraph you're saying about people crossing the line. They're crossing the boundary and they're telling me, you might not be able to get a business going. You might not be able to maintain that. You don't have the money to invest. Boundary breaking, boundary breaking, boundary breaking. It's none of their business what you have or what you're doing or what your choices are. So here's what I'm going to encourage you to do as you get stronger in your areas of boundaries, because it looks like you're doing it. You're doing it, and that's awesome. Everyone should be working on this, is don't let them talk. Not about this around you. So a way to do that might be to say something like this, especially the people that are close to you. You might say something like this: listen, I can appreciate your concern, but I'm going to have to kind of cut this conversation off right here, because what happens when you talk to me like that is it really starts to move my positive mindset into a mindset that doesn't work for me to be able to build this business that I know I'm going to be successful at. So while I appreciate your input and I I value you as a person. I need you to either come over to the side where you know that I can do this, or I need you to keep your opinion to yourself. That would be super helpful for me, because while you don't believe that I'm going to be able to do this, I know that I'm going to find that money to invest. I know that there are things I can do without the money to invest, and I don't need somebody coming in here and sabotaging that. Now, there's a gentle way to say that, of course. It's about inflection with your tone. It's about the relationship with the people you're talking with. It's about how you deliver the information. But the way that you say those things is going to let people know in a loving way, here's my boundary. Here's my yard. Here's your yard. You stay in your yard. I'm going to stay in my yard, and I'm going to take care of business. And I'm going to reach out to people like Carmen and Andy and Lisa and the people that are in my peer group. And I'm going to be lifted up by them, and I'm going to take tips from them, and I'm going to make this happen. So thanks again, like that, right? So I'm going to be doing a lot more language and dialogue support for you guys. So if you have anything you ever want me to share with you on how to deliver hard messages to people, or how to teach people to have boundaries, or how to teach you to have boundaries so that they can shift as well, this is one of my favorite topics, because I didn't have them when I was married. I didn't have them when I was in my 20s. And I'm still working on, making sure that I'm firming them up and that I'm honoring my own self, and I'm teaching my son boundaries too. This is one of the most important tools you'll ever have to have a successful business, marriage, relationship, friendships. All of that is to know that boundaries are so important. We were born, like Brene Brown says, we were hardwired for connection with other people. But even more on top of that is we were wired to also understand that boundaries, they lift us up, they support us, and they protect us. And as my therapist loves to say, well, I haven't seen her in a while because I moved, but I'm going to be driving back to see her, because therapy is such a powerful thing to have. You guys, everybody I think should experience it at some point. But she always says boundaries are protective. They're not punitive. So if you have someone that gets all huffed up and upset just because you say this is what you need, then that's something you can say to them. Say, listen, I'm not trying to punish anybody here. I'm just trying to protect myself. And I'm also protecting you as well, because when I tell you what works for me, I'm giving you the tools to build your own boundaries. So again, back to the money thing. If someone's got a negative mindset about money, and that's being reflected and projected onto you, you have every right to say to them, I don't measure my worth through money, and I know that I'm going to be able to do what I need to do to be successful. So please take that opinion and take it over here somewhere else, because it's not serving me. So if this was helpful for you guys, please put in the comments below if you're watching the replay, or if you're getting the email and you want to share your experience. Absolutely love to hear from people about this. You can send us a message at support@instituteforfunctionalhealthcoaching.com. Or if you have a personal story or something that you just want to share that's related to infidelity or betrayal, or you're experiencing that right now and you're not quite sure where to turn next, you can email me at carmenhunterhealth@gmail.com. I am building a group and a support area for women of infidelity and betrayal, or even women that are married and not sure exactly how to stand up and get their power back so that they can have a successful business and have a successful personal life as well. Because I promise you this, that if you are in a marriage or a relationship with anyone that's sabotaging you, or that is not supporting you or lifting you up personally, it is affecting the ability for you to have a successful business. The minute I got out of that toxic relationship that I was in, which I contributed to as well, my business changed 100%, 100%. The energy around my life, the energy around my business, the people that were coming into my world. I think we underestimate how much our lives in our business are affected by the personal lives or relationships we have, and the way we're living our personal life. That is another, that is going to be another live, because it's not something I can share in this one. There's way too much for it. But yes, you're welcome, Lisa, for the advice for the naysayers. Absolutely. And Solange, I love when you talk about boundaries. I only found out about this topic thanks to you, and it helped me to see how leaky mine are. Yay! Thanks. It is so helpful. I love that you said, you used my terminology too, leaky boundaries, right? And I'll share this. And Solange is someone, first of all, she's one of the most beautiful people physically and heart-centeredly, if that's a word, that I've ever had the privilege of connecting with. She's a student, she's a mentor, a participant, and I call her a friend. Even if we're so many miles apart. But I will say this, she's got this right. When I use the term leaky boundaries when I was teaching class and sharing about boundaries, I like to use the analogy of a boat where, you know, we're in a boat, we're trying to, in that boat, we are trying to survive all of the things that are coming our way. And, you know, think about that boat having holes in it. And each one of those holes is a boundary that's being broken by somebody in our lives, even if it's ourselves. Maybe we punched a hole in that boat by allowing people into our lives and not saying no. Maybe we've got a spouse that's punched a hole in that boat by not lifting us up and supporting us emotionally. Maybe we have a parent that's punched a couple holes in that boat by telling us that we'll never make it, or that we'll have to have their advice for the rest of our lives. Plugging up those leaky holes are things like this, our boundaries that we put into place that plug those holes, like saying, you know what, I can appreciate that I've always baked the cookies for the kindergarten class, but I cannot do it this time, and I'm sorry. And then someone crossing over and saying, well, who are you? You're not being very helpful. Sorry, my dad's coming over to check irrigation. You're not being very helpful. You know, you should be making the cookies every year like you always do. That's a boundary breaker. The boundary plugger is, I can appreciate that you think that, but my life is a little bit busy right now, and I'm not able to fulfill that promise I've made every year for the classes, or whatever. Another boundary hole puncher in that boat that you're in is someone saying to you, you know, about your business that, well, you know what, I really don't think you're qualified to be a health coach or help people with their health, because you're not a nutritionist, you're not a doctor, and you're not a dietitian. So that's a boundary breaker. They're crossing over and telling you what you're capable of and what you're able to do. And to plug that hole, you would say, you know what? I have this really strong belief in myself and all of the knowledge that I have in the journey that I've been on. I know that I can make this business work without those titles behind my name. So I would appreciate, until you know what I do for my business and how strong I am and what I have to offer, that maybe you keep that opinion about me to yourself. So those are just a couple of ways that you can plug those boundary holes. And just remember this, last word for the day. First, visit us at the Institute for Functional Health Coaching.com. See more about us and all kinds of free information out there, you guys. But know this, that what other people think of you is none of your business. And what you think of others is none of their business as well. Stay in your lane, manage your own yard, and take care of yourselves before you worry about taking care of anyone else, right? Christy's another one on here. She's very, very focused on boundaries, and it's really fun for me to see you guys popping in here, because I know you're out there doing it and you're taking care of yourselves. So thanks for listening today, you guys. Happy Friday. Have an amazing weekend, and continue to come back. I'm going to be on here live sharing vulnerabilities. I'm going to try to be the most real health coach, mentoring you and educating you that you're going to find on the internet today, because I'm just kind of tired of the wrong message being sent to coaches and them looking in the wrong direction and measuring their worth by the wrong barometers and looking to the people to lead them that really probably haven't even built this business themselves. Let's just work really hard on supporting each other and staying vulnerable in a space that no one else is. All right. Have a great weekend, and thanks for popping in.